Hey, what's going on, everybody? I got a new project here behind me. And here she is. It is a 1987 5.0 Foxbody T-top. And I'm just gonna say it from the rip, she's in very bad condition. I'm not going to disclose what I paid for it. Well, at least not yet. I want you guys to take your best guesses in the comments. Let me know what you think I paid for it. If you can't tell by that wheel gap, there's a little surprise under the hood. Guess we'll go ahead and start there. Yeah, there is nothing, guys. So she is a roller. Motor was pulled. Before we get going on this, I want to note that I already did some things to this. I actually recorded the content. I already did the video, what I'm doing now, the introduction, everything to this car, and I lost the SD card like a loser. So yeah, forgive me. I did have all the footage of this in its original condition, exactly how I bought it. It's pretty much the same. Not much has changed other than I did detail the interior. I pulled the carpet out, pulled the seats out, and I do have some footage, so I'll include that right here. So this is from my phone. This is like before pictures and videos and stuff from my phone. So, you know, just a little insight as to the condition. It's just in poor condition inside and out, all the way through, and it's in a lot poorer condition than I even anticipated when I first looked at it and bought it, which we're going to get into. So we'll start here in the interior. Now, the interior was all together. It was missing some screws, but it's basically all here. I did clean the seats, so if you can see, we do have some very fresh seats. I detail, so this is pretty much my job, so I'm not too bad at it. Seats were destroyed, as you saw in the before pictures, and they are a lot better. I did the back one here as well. Now, if you didn't get a glimpse of when I just turned the camera, you can kind of see some surprises going on over there. So let's go to the other side. So yes, guys, here is the beloved T-top issue. They leak. Now, other than that, the rest of the floor pan, like on that side on the driver, it's pretty good. The other issue is there is some damage up front here. Underneath here, there's some there's a rust hole like right here on both sides in the corner. So there is a little rust hole in the front, which, you know, it's really not too bad. It can definitely be patched. I personally do not want to get the entire floor pan. I really want to get a section from another car, and the reason being is because even if I bought a floor pan for this thing right here, if we lift this up, it's already all rotted here from the rear floor pan. No matter what, even if I bought the floor pan, I still need something clean to weld to here. So I really would like a section like from here and just the whole rear, you know, basically up to here, like a cut from where the seat mounts here, and just get a whole section would be perfect up to about right here. That's what this car needs. Okay, now, unfortunately, it gets worse. And you know, like I said, the interior, it's all here. It's going to clean up pretty good. It's going to need a couple things, but once that floor pan gets done and we fix a couple pieces up front, the interior is going to be on point for the most part. I'll even bring you guys to the hatch real quick before we show the real problem here. And this is a problem as well. The hatch is rusted out. It's going to probably need a hatch. It's got rust. And yes, the car has been poorly repainted at some point. So yet another tally in the bad department. All right, so we can see they didn't take the tail lights out. They didn't take anything apart. They didn't take the quarter glasses out. I mean, you can see the really poor tape lines. And yeah, I mean, it's just overall a really piss poor paint job. And you know, it's obviously going to need a respray. The beauty of this car to me is it is red. If you know, see any of my other vehicles, they're all red. And on top of that, it's my birth year. It's an 87. That was the year I was born, which is cool. And it's a T-top. always wanted a T-top, and that was really the selling point to me. So this car is pretty far gone, but being the fact that it's a T-top, I think it's worth salvaging in my opinion. Now, some of the cool things I'll show you guys. All this stuff was intact, by the way. This is just for me disassembling it, but here is the Carfax. So this is the Carfax to this car. There's a lot of cool things to note here. It says there's never been, you know, any damage to it. So the title's never been damaged. It's never been a total loss, no structural damage. It's a little foreshadowing right there. Yeah, no accidents reported, none of that. So this car really has no history. You see, 1/16/87 is when it was manufactured and went to Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Then it went to PA, and it lived its life in PA till now. It's back in Jersey, and not too far from Cherry Hill actually either. So it's pretty cool. It's come full circle to, you know, where it belongs. But the last report on this car is of August of 2003. You can see that we did have a potential odometer rollover. So this car's got like 136,000 miles, I believe is what's on it. So we'll go double check that. But we know that it rolled over because obviously this is a 5-digit dash, not a 6. So we never know the true mileage of what this is. But from everything I've seen in this car, it's been sitting since 2003. And that's been about 20 years. The last known insurance card and everything in this car is from 2004, so I'm pretty sure she's just been sitting. I got this car off of some kids who bought it off the, I believe, original owner, or at least the second owner of this vehicle. You know, the people from Drexel Hill, they're the ones who pulled the motor out of it and sold it to me for probably triple what they got it for. I'm pretty sure it was just a yard find. I think they just drove by, saw it, stopped and asked, and I'm sure she probably gave it to him for 500 bucks with the motor, and now I have it with no motor and a whole bunch of rust. Cool things here though. It does have like all the original stuff. We got the original window sticker, which is always a win. Super cool. Let me get this out here. We can see it was the original 5-speed 5.0 car. See the original price, $15,662. So really cool, guys. So this is, you know, the origin of the car. We got the, you know, original books, the original window sticker. I got the small Carfax report here that doesn't tell us much other than it's existed in PA and Cherry Hill, really is what we know. So what we'll do is we'll check the mileage, and then I'll go back to under the hood, and then we'll take it up from there. All right, I'm gonna bring you back in. We'll check the mileage. Like I said, I think it's 36 maybe. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's 13. It's 13, my bad. So I was wrong. It's only got an 85 mile an hour dash, which sucks. But so this car's got like 113,000 miles is what I'm pretty confident it has, because it had about 9 when it was registered back in 2003. 9,000, obviously the potential odometer you know, rollover. So I think we're looking at 113,000 miles is my guess, my educated guess, that this car has 113,000 miles, guys. Been resprayed very poorly, sat since 2003. Let's get to the killer though, man. Let's go under the hood, because this is where I'm a little disappointed in myself, but I got excuses, guys. So you got to hear me out. You got to hear me out. All right, so let's get under here. All right, guys, we are under the hood here. Now, there are some big issues here. It was mentioned that there's some small shock tower rust, and that was it. Okay, so when we went to look at this car, it was about an hour away from me. It was located right outside of Philly. Now, when we were about 30-40 minutes there, almost there, the guy calls me and he's like, I can't find the title. I had my friend come and pick me up with the tow truck so we can go grab this. I'm paying him. We're already beyond halfway there, and I asked specifically to this guy, I was like, hey, do you have the title? Please tell me you got the title. Yes. Is it clean? Yes. Okay, have the title. Almost there, and then he calls me, oh, I don't have the title. Okay, so when I got there, they still didn't have the title. So I was a little thrown off my game, simply because I'm looking at this car and I'm ready to buy it. I got the cash in hand, and they don't have the title. Swearing up and down they got it. They did get it to me, just for reference, but what we did is I gave them 1/4 of what they wanted for the car. I said, listen, I'll give you this much for it. This car ain't worth much to begin with. If I lose without a title, there's still money for me to sell parts. And if you want to bring me the title, I'll give you the rest of the money. We took the car, didn't have the title. When we took it, of course, gave them a small amount of money, and they let me take it. They called me about 20 minutes later. Hey, we found the title. They came and met me around my area, and they gave me the title, and I gave them the rest of the money. So that's how this car was acquired. So being that that happened, I was a little bit already thrown off my game with the whole title situation. Like I mentioned, it was dark, did have a flashlight, and I was looking here at our shock towers, okay? So what I noticed, obviously there was some small rust. There was really just this bubbling out here, which isn't good. This obviously should be, you know, nice and flat. I saw that, I was like, it's not horrible. There's a little hole here. I was like, that could probably be tacked. Over here on this side, it's not great. You can see it's bowed out a bit. Rust is in there pretty good. You know, it's not good. I was actually just gonna rock it, but it's really not that great. So being that this side looked like it was okay in the dark real quick, and that one was like, I'm on the fence about it, I was like, I'll chop it up. These cars all got something wrong with them one way or the other. Obviously this could be repaired. I was like, you know, between me and my friend, I felt like we could tackle the minimal rust it looked like it had, and you know, however we decided to tackle it, I know we can get it right. Now, something I didn't notice, we are flaring out with rust here, but there is the kicker on this whole front end, and which I didn't notice at all, and which I'm really upset about. And you know, it's all me, but this is really going to determine the fate of this car, is that, and this, and that. And there it is, guys. And if you were looking, probably when I had the camera down there, yes, that's somebody re-welded that right there. So yes, this car was in a heck of a front end collision. It wrinkled the entire apron on both sides, cracked the apron. We got a crack in the apron here. We got cracking and stuff going on over here. And she's, you know, wrinkled, just doesn't look good. All right, it's not good. See, this is supposed to be a perfect circle. That's all wrinkled. And even down here, that's supposed to be a perfect circle right there. It's pretty bad off, guys. So this whole front clip is just, it's not in good shape. Between that damage here with the rust, between the rust on the shock towers, between the wrinkling in the apron, I mean, it's really a junkyard car almost. The fact that it's a T-top and it's original 5.0 5-speed car, I think it's kind of worth saving, in my opinion. Your opinion might differ, but these cars are getting harder to find. And yes, like I said, it does have a extremely poor paint job on it. It needs everything. It literally needs everything. It hasn't ran in 20 years. It's going to need everything mechanically outside of just the engine. It's going to need, you know, brakes, you know, rear end. It's going to need it all, guys. So she's definitely hurting, guys, all the way through. Needs a lot. You know, I'll even review some more of this bad paint work. Like, I mean, we can just see how bad the cheese graters are. Everything's chipping everywhere. Look at that. Chip out of the cheese grater. I don't know what this is about, or how we even got to this point here. More bad hatch. Here's, for anybody interested too, that's the VIN. So you can see the VIN corresponds with the Carfax build date 12/86. You know, T-tops were 87s and early 88s. So yeah, guys, I mean, one thing I did do, which I did on camera actually, but one of the things that was lost is I buffed this side. I wanted to, just to see how it would clean up. Obviously, I'm not keeping this paint job. I mean, it's way far gone. All our side trim molding is all peeling off. But like in here, here, the door, this side, I mean, it does not look bad considering. All I did was a 1-stage correction on it. You know, it looks pretty good. I think I might do the whole car just for, you know, shits and giggles, just to see how she'll look. The wheels were dirty. They cleaned up well. The turbines, you know, I think they're nice. They definitely cleaned up. They had a ton of rust on them. They cleaned up well. They pressure washed it, obviously, before they sold it to me. So I think it was an algae car. Like, it was just green sitting in somebody's yard, if I had to take a very educated guess. There's a lot of signs of it. There was a ton of debris up in here. You know, I had to take the taillights out. I did take the taillights out. There was a ton of stuff behind there. Just a ton of stuff coming out of the door trim moldings here. Just everywhere, guys. I mean, if we look up back under the hood, you can see some of the debris. Like, she's just been sitting, guys. So she needs everything, although she is mostly original. You know, she isn't really molested. It still has the factory speakers in the rear, so we still got the original speakers in there. It did have a really old crap aftermarket radio, and you can see there's the harness. I pulled that out, man. Look at that thing. Here's some of the panels. Did come with the original equalizer too, which was pretty cool. That was underneath of the crappy cassette player that was installed. Whoever did that should be ashamed of themselves, but you know, that's another story. But yeah, guys, she's a Mustang, like many of them are. This is one thing I didn't notice either. Needs a fender. I don't think this is the original fender, considering the damage here from the aprons. Obviously the fenders had to get damaged. There is no VIN tag. I don't even see that there was one painted over on either side. So yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say these aren't the original fenders. So I'm not pressed on keeping them. It's not anything valuable on them, like a VIN tag or something like that. So I might just get another one, but I guess it depends on the price. I would like an OG original Ford fender, but maybe we can cut that out and weld it and, you know, fix it up. But like I said, she is pretty original. They did put Ford headlights back on it. That's one thing I did look at when I was there. I was like, oh, you know, she's got the original Ford headlights. So obviously somebody just replaced them with Ford headlights, because like I said, this damage in this bay, guys, it's beat. It's really beat. Like, look at that. She's hurt. So this is an original Scarlet red car, 87. So her name is Scarlet. We're probably going to keep her Scarlet, being that her name is Scarlet. So like I said, I'm not going to reveal what I paid for it. Did I overpay for it? Yes. I will reveal eventually what I paid for it. I'll let you guys take some guesses in the comments of what you think I paid for it. Let me know what you think I paid for it and what you think it's worth. Which brings me to my next topic, guys. I want to touch base on what a Foxbody is worth in 2023. It's actually late 2023. We're rolling into 2024. It's about to be November at the recording of this video. So I do want to touch base on the market, some of the things I went through while looking for this car. I want to show you guys some listings, and just we're going to overall take a view of the Foxbody market as it stands right now. This is my first Foxbody. I'm 35 years old. I've always wanted one. I love these cars since a kid. One of my neighbors had one in the early 90s. He had a yellow vert, and I loved it. It was badass. He had a loud exhaust on it. It was 90s correct, I'll tell you that much. It was on point. So that thing turned me out as a kid. 1 and 1 cents. Finally got one. You know, now that I'm a little older, I can have something to play around with. These weren't great cars for daily drivers. They're awesome vehicles, but they had their issues. So it's not something I wanted to have as my only form of transportation, but now as a, you know, weekend warrior project, you know, things like that, it's the ultimate car to have. I'm so happy I got it. But I was on the fence after I really evaluated this if I wanted to keep it, but I think I'm going to keep it, guys. So like I said, we're going to go ahead and touch base on the Foxbody market, what I think these cars are worth. You know, you can tell me what you think these cars are worth, and I'll give you some of my insight from what I've seen on Marketplace and just the overall market of these cars, guys. So let's get into it. All right, guys, so we're going to get into Foxbody pricing and the Foxbody market. Now, what is a Foxbody worth? This is a very subjective question that's really just an opinion that people would have, really based off the prices of marketplace and, you know, auctions and things of that nature. Nobody can give you a direct answer, although people can share their opinions, and sometimes they're right and sometimes they're all right. So I'm no Foxbody expert. I am new to the Foxbody game. This is my first Foxbody. I've only owned one for a few months, but I have been wanting one of these cars for a very, very long time. All I do is research and study these cars. I've been doing it for years. I really just watch Foxbody content on YouTube all the time, and that's really all I've been doing since probably about 2016. So although I am no Foxbody expert and guru, I do know a pretty good amount about these cars, and I've put in the research to give you a very experienced opinion considering. Also, I'm no appraiser, I'm no auction expert, I'm no pricing expert, but what I'm going to do is go over pricing with you, give my opinion that is based off of facts. I'm going to show you factual pictures of pricing, price slashing, longevity of how long ads have been posted. So I'm going to give you my opinion based off facts that I'm going to provide to you in this video. Now, you're more than welcome to respectfully share your opinion on pricing of what these cars are worth in this day and age. But what I'm going to review is my opinion on pricing that I've been researching for about 4 to 5 months. So since maybe even a little longer, it's February of 2024, almost March. I've been researching ads since September of 2023. I mean, every day, looking what comes up. I'm screenshotting things, and I've been saving all these ads that I'm going to review with you guys over the course of that time. So from September of 2023 until February of 2024, I have a collective group of ads that I've been following, that I've screenshotted, that I've saw, commented on, all of the above, and I'm going to share them with you to help prove my point on what I think these cars are worth. Now, I'm sorry if any of these cars are yours. If this was your ad, I'm sorry, because I'm not going to say a bunch of nice things about all the ads, but just as I'm sure people are going to share their opinions on my opinion on the pricing, it's the same thing here. I'm going to share my opinion on what people are asking. So I want to share different aspects from, you know, why some ads might not do as well because they're very poorly done, why some cars are overpriced, a ton of price slashing that you'll see over a course of time. And one thing I want to note too, I am in the Northeast, I am in New Jersey. So the marketplace and ads that I'm going to be reviewing are basically New Jersey, PA, Maryland, Delaware area. Okay, so that's about the span of where I search, nothing too crazy. Not even crazy west PA or, you know, really south into Virginia, none of that. I'm just talking about my marketplace in my area. These are all ads that I've screenshotted directly from this area, as you'll see as I post each individual ad. So just want to note that this is all the pricing that I've seen, and this is how I'm basing my opinion from how things have been trending over the past few years until this point with proven information off a marketplace. So let's get into it. All right, guys, so we're going to jump right into looking at some ads here. So basically what I'm going to do is just bring up ads on the screen here, and I'm just going to be doing a voiceover and commenting on the ad, the car, what have you. Okay, so one thing, of course, cars are really only worth what someone is willing to pay for it. I know we've all heard that, but it is the truth. You can ask $50,000 for your 200,000 mile notchback, but you know, how many people are really reaching out and trying to buy it for that? You know what I mean? It really doesn't matter what the ask price is. It matters what people are willing to pay for it and what the offers are. If I'm asking $20,000 for my Fox, and you know, everybody in my inbox is like, bro, I'll give you $2,000, I'll give you 2,300, I'll give you 25, I'll give you 19. Like, obviously we're in a ballpark of where it's probably at. Now, that's not always the case, but roughly speaking, there's a lot of truth to it. It's only worth what somebody is willing to give you for it. All right, so first thing we're going to do is touch on ads. For some reason, I mean, this really kind of qualifies for any car on marketplace, but for some reason, it's in the Fox community, it's almost like there's a contest on who can post the worst possible ads, like between the worst pictures, the worst descriptions, you know, just one big run-on sentence like no rust, BBK headers, 373 gears, and I don't know the history of it. I got it from this dude and he got it from him and I think I'm the fifth owner. Like, bro, put a little bit of thought into it, man. It's really not that hard. So just some examples of some bad ads. And I do believe some cars probably could get a more or get their asking price if they simply put the time in to make a good ad. So if we're looking at this one, for example, this is a vert that somebody's asking $17,000 for. Could put a little bit more information, not the best, but these pictures, my dude, you really tried to make the worst, like the blurry interior, the blurry engine bay, darkest pictures possible. Like, why did we have to take the darkest, worst possible pictures, especially at that asking price? Like, if you're asking that amount of money, just put a little effort into it. It's really not that hard. Check this one out. This is a 93, the description, one sentence, converted from a 4-cylinder. Will only reply to serious offers. I love that. Well, we can only be serious here if we know what you got, man. I mean, obviously this car has been converted to a GT. It was a 4-cylinder. It's got cheese graters, got a GT kit, GT wing. It's Calypso. So it's obviously been painted. So, you know, include this information. When was it painted? What is the strut tower condition? You know, is there rust? Did you put an 8.8 rear end in it? You know, all these things. It's not that hard to include this information. I just don't get why we don't do it. Here's one pick. Now this says $2,000. So I mean, I get the price point, but I mean, you know, throw a couple more pics. I mean, we got smartphones. It's 2024, right? We can't take a few more pictures here. Like, it's really not that hard. Like, how many minutes and seconds does it take to fire out 5 to 10 pictures? I mean, I would, if I'm doing an ad, I'm adding 20, but why are we not adding more pics? Like this one pic of 1/4 of the car. Like, I get you're asking $2,000 for it, but I mean, you probably get people beating down your door if you just put the effort into the ad, right? So here's another one. This is crazy to me because this is $13,000, 13.5. The description, recently painted. Okay. That's doesn't tell me much, man. I see you got one-piece headlights on it, so like, you know, give me some information here. How are the strut towers? Is there rust on the floor pans? There's 4 pictures here. I didn't screen record this one. I just took one of the pictures, but like, come on, man. Like, why are we not adding more information? When was it painted? Why was it painted? You know, these things are stuff that people want to know, especially with this asking price. I don't get why we can't add a little bit more information. So here's another one here. 3,500, 2 pics. Look at these. The worst, blurriest pics humanly possible with no description. 89 notchback roller. You know, I mean, just give us some more information, man. I mean, you know, for some of us, 3,500 is a lot of money, and you know, we want to know what we're getting ourselves into. I mean, I'm not going to drive an hour, 2 hours. I'm sure nobody else, including yourself, wants to drive far when this is all we have to go off of. So, you know, just give us a little more information. Take some pictures that didn't look like you smeared bacon grease over your camera lens before you took them. And I just don't. And like this right here, this isn't a Fox, but this is a 94 Mustang. You know, no pic at all. Just uploaded a gray screenshot. Like, we couldn't take one pic. I just don't get it. I really don't. So maybe it's me, but I think we can put more effort into the ads alone, and I promise you, you will get a lot more money out of these cars if you just take the 10 minutes. It would take 10 minutes to write out a decent paragraph, you know, the good and the bad of the car, and take 5 to 10, if not 20 pictures. And you'll get your asking price, if not more. This is a huge thing that I see people missing money on. I mean, you got to learn how to market your car. You want to sell it and you want to get the most out of it. Take a few pictures. It's really not hard. So you'll probably see a little bit more of that throughout some of these ads that I'm going to be sharing from here on out. But now what I'm going to do is get into price slashing. All right, so from all the ads that I've been looking at and following, the sellers are not getting what they're asking for. And Castle Customs actually kind of touched base on this in a price video he did for 2023. He said it was going to be more of a buyer's market and prices were going to come down. And this is kind of proof to that. So what I'm going to do is share a ton of screenshots of different cars here that just have price slashes. So let's just get into a few of them. So here we go. Check this out. $4,000. This was $7,000. Now $4,000 listed 3 months ago. So, you know, this dude had it listed 2 months ago at $8,000. It's now $2,500. This was a good one. This was a 79 Cobra. $8,000. It was hit. Here's another picture of it. $8,000. And now it's at 25, listed 4 months ago. And I mean, the longevity of an ad says a lot too, because usually the decent deals or something desirable, you're going to see it move, and you're going to see it move fast. All right, so here's another one. 84. It's at half of his asking price. 12,000. Started at 12,000. And in a week, he came down to $6,000. He must have got flamed on one of the for sale groups on Facebook, because I'm sure people looking at this, we're all on them. I mean, you know, everybody's always sending the laughy faces and, oh, that car's worth 25, it's worth $2,000. You know, everybody's always an appraiser in the comments. But there's a lot of truth to a lot of the comments. Some people really are out of their mind with these prices. You know, there is some wild asks out here, but this one here, man, 12,000. We started at 12,000, and in 7 days we came down to $6,000. Here's another one, 89. Started at 12, we're at 9,500. I mean, a lot of these are significant drops. Another another one, half cost right here, 12,000. 4 months later, we're at 6,000. Half slashed in half. This one right here was actually, I would kind of wanted to see in person. I still don't think it's worth what he was asking, but this was a notch in good shape, new paint, and it had a, you know, cleaned up engine bay roller. The only thing about the shaved engine bay, you never really know what's under there and who did it, but, you know, they started at 12, and a month later, he's at 7,500. So, you know, another one. I would say maybe that car's worth $5,000, if maybe 6, depending on how good that paint job is. But I mean, you really got to go see it. Now this one here, this goes to show it's not just an individual private seller, that this is a dealer that is posted on Marketplace. They got, you know, other cars listed on here. This is one, and you can tell by the window sticker on it. This was listed 11 days. It was at 17,000. Now it's at 15,000. So, you know, we cut that $2,000. Another one here started at 22,000 2 months ago. Now it's 17,000. So $5,000 cheaper, still not sold. Next one, $18,000, and I don't think this car is worth 18 or 15, which is what it's come down to. But just another example that we're not selling it. 22,000 to 18,000 on this 90 here. And here's another one, 22 to 18,000, still not sold 2 months later. It's another picture of that one. We got a clean looking notch, but this just goes to show on either end of the spectrum, whether we're asking cheap pricing or higher pricing, that it's still not getting the ask price. You know, the people that are asking $8,000 aren't getting 25, and this guy here, he's asking 25,000, and now he's got it down to 22 in 10 days. So, you know, this is just example after example across the board, whether the pricing's cheap, middle way, middle ground, or high end of this pricing that we're seeing, they're all slashed. Here's one. It was 27, now slashed to 22. Got this one here. This was 3,500. In 17 days, he came down to $2,000. Here we got one that in 9 days came from 4,800 to 3,100. Honestly, depending on this, that might not be a bad deal. This one here, listed over a year ago, 5,500, and we're at 2,970 in a year. It's another pick for the one that's been listed for a year. I would honestly want to see that one. This one here went from 55 to $4,000. This one here, within a month, went from $6,000 to 2,800, so less than half of the asking price. You know, it just keeps going, guys. I mean, there's example after example after example. This one here, 7,500. A month later, we're at $5,000. 88, listed over a year ago. We went from 75 asking to now at 42. This one here, 8,500 was the asking. We're now at 2,200. We went from 8,500 to 22. And I mean, with this picture, bro, with this picture, you're not getting 8,500. Like, we couldn't have pressure washed this to ask 85. Like, just because you got a Foxbody doesn't mean it's gold, man. Like, I mean, that's another thing. Clean the car up, vacuum it, take the trash out, pressure wash it. Pressure wash it and take more than 4 picks. Like, my God, man. This one here, We went from 8,500 to 3,800. 8,500 to 3,800. And this is another example of a bad ad. Look at this. 302 carbureted. Okay. I mean, what else? You got a door panel that's primer there, man. Give me some insight on that. What hood is on it? What gear you got in it? How's the strut towers? What do the floors look like? It's a convertible. Is it leaking? What are the, I mean, so many questions that could be easily answered. And you know what? If you took better pictures than this one picture you included and actually put a description, maybe you would get the 8,500 that you're asking. But now you're down 6 months later because nobody wants to buy it at 3,800 because you're not thorough in your ad. Put the information, people. This is not hard. Another one. Month later, 15,000 ask, down to 12. This one here, this is an example of just one that got laughed out of one of the groups. So it was 94 Mustang GT 500 wheels, built 5.0, everything on cars, Ford, SVT, you know, racing, 373, yada yada. He's asking 24.5. Don't see that in the car, especially with 5 picks. But I mean, you know, you can give me your opinion on this one. I'll leave this one up for grabs. You know, just example after example after example, guys. I mean, here's just I just saw this scrolling through Marketplace. Look at this. This is 3 cars here, all price slash 13 to 12, 15 to 13, 17 to 13. People are not getting what they're asking for these cars because we see on Meekum that the, you know, 1 of 1 or 1 of 3 perfect condition notchback went for 90K, but at the end of the day, that is a specific car to a specific buyer. For these cars that are on Marketplace, yes, they're worth more than your average cars, but you know, at the end of the day, it still has to be within reason with the condition of the car. Just because you have a Foxbody, it doesn't mean that it's worth 30K, 25K, 15K. What is the condition like? If you got a Mustang like I do, it's not worth 5K. It's not worth 10K. You know what I mean? It's very subjective. You know what I mean? The condition of these cars are everything. And even if you got a bubble wrapped car that's got no mileage on it, it still would need everything if somebody decided to drive it. So no matter what, these cars are going to need something at any price point, whether it's a cheap price point or the top of the top, they're going to need something. So we have to keep that in mind when these cars are getting priced. Now, I'm just going to touch base on a few overpriced ones. So this is, you know, you can take it how you want it, but like this one here, this is $3,000 for a field 4-cylinder that's got rusted floor pans. Like, I actually offered this dude 15 and he didn't take it. So, and as you can see, 3 months later, it's still listed. So overpriced, yes, in my opinion. That car is not worth that. We got one here. This is $10,000 car, okay? This is a $10,000 car and it has some shock tower rot. In my opinion, if the car has shock tower rot, even in a decent condition, which this looks like in pictures, I don't think it's worth 10K. I mean, I don't think it's worth 2K. Maybe, you know, as long as the engine, everything is clean, the interior's clean. I mean, you know, I mean, maybe I would say 5-6K, but it's got shock tower rust. I mean, that's a engine out full, you know, resto project. So no, the car is not worth 10K, especially with one-piece headlights. Sorry, the car is not worth 10K in that condition. Now, these cars here, these are a particular style. I mean, these are 90s cars, really. This is a particular buyer that would want something like this. This dude put a bad ad, and I guess people were hitting him up thinking that he was selling the car for 600. And he said, let me be more specific. Car is not for sale. Transmission only. Don't even bother. 56,000 original miles unless you give me $15,000. My dude, you want $15,000 for a flame paint job? I just don't see it, man. Same thing with this here. This is an American flag car for $16,000. That's a American flag flames. Like, that is just so 94. It's crazy to me that, you know, that's a very particular person has to buy that car. It's just, with that done to it, you know, it's almost in the farthest from original condition. It's not worth that. One in good condition should be worth that. Not that, man. This one got laughed out of, you know, the groups because it was a convertible probably, but he wants 33,000. It's 15,000 original miles. So I get it, but in my opinion, I've seen similar things go across Mecum because I watch all the Mecum auctions, and Foxes do cross from time to time, and these things usually go for like 20 to 25. So 33 is a clean notch price, man. It's not, in my opinion, a 93 convertible. Even though it's a last year, 15,000 miles, 505 speed, I just don't see 33, man. I see 25 at the most. This car right here got a ton of hate in the groups, and it's kind of warranted. I mean, this thing is, he asked $55,000, and it was at 45 the last time I checked. But, you know, I don't see $45,000. Is it a clean car? Heck yeah. Super clean. Very nice car. I would love to own it, but but it's not worth 55. It's not worth 45. I don't know if it's worth 35. You can give me your opinions on that one as well, but yeah, don't see it. Now, another overpriced $1,500 for this. I mean, doesn't look like it has a hatch, no rear end, missing everything, no doors, no rear bumper, no tail lights. It was a straight shell. So, you know, this is a junkyard car. I mean, this is for $500 at the most. At the most, 500. I mean, that's just way, 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 way overpriced. So now that we got into a lot of the pricing of, you know, seeing a ton of price slashes, overpriced cars, and what I'm getting at here is these cars are typically overpriced. I showed you, you know, a ton of cars with solid proof. And you could go probably onto your marketplace right now and see the same thing. There's price slashes on all these cars because they're overpriced. And like I said, the ads aren't helping the situation. Take the 10 minutes and make a good ad. Now, with all that being said, generally speaking, these cars are overpriced, but are there reasonable deals out there? Yes. Yeah, there are some. It's rare. There's not a lot of them, but they're out there. So I'm just going to give a few here that I saw. So here's one for 1800. This was really good. This is the same car here, rot free, perfect strut towers and torque boxes, and it looks really good. And that, you know, it's a roller. It looked really good. So for 18, I'm not mad at this car. I'm really not. I would have bought this all day at 18. I think that's a good deal considering what people are asking for these cars. Here's another one. This is a 93 for 6,500. Runs and drives as it should. Was sitting for about 4 years. Put a new fuel pump, new gas. Started right up. Car is not perfect, but looks to be a reef blue notch. And I mean, for $6,500, it looks pretty decent. And I didn't screen record this one, but from what I remember, it looked pretty good in the pictures. Like, it's not bad. I would definitely check that out for $6,500. Another really good one right here. $1,200 for this 93. Yes, it's a 4-cylinder. Says it needs, you know, back brakes, a fuel sensor, interior was clean, has a good radio system in it, has a little rust on the front side fender, new spark plug, wires, yada yada. Said or best off 1,200 or best offer. So this was a reef blue car too. I mean, for 1,200, not bad. So here's another reasonable deal I came across. It doesn't look too bad. They want 29. I'm sure you could probably give him 25 and he would take it. 92 roller. Doesn't have a lot, but it doesn't have rust. So that's a huge factor. He says the floor pans are good. There's no rust on the shock towers or anything like that. They look good in these pics. You know, it needs work obviously, but you know, from 2 grand to 25, I think, you know, he would probably take it. Even at 29, it's not too bad considering it's rust free and it's a notch. So, you know, if you're really looking for a project that you're going to take down anyway, in my opinion, that's a reasonable deal. I'm not mad at that ad. I think it's okay. I think it could be, you know, maybe a hair better, but you know, at the same time, it's not bad considering what people are asking for these cars. So, all in all, it seems that these cars are way overpriced. I mean, yes, like I mentioned, they are worth more than your everyday car. You know what I mean? Like a Chevy Cavalier 93 is going to be worth pennies at a junkyard, where a 93 Foxbody is always probably going to hold some value no matter the condition. It can be junkyard ready. Somebody probably still pay $5,000 to $1,000 for it. So there's always going to be value in these cars, as they are very desirable, very neat, unique cars that people are after. So they're always going to hold value, but you got to keep in mind that condition plays a huge role in what these cars are worth. And as I showed with all the ads I provided across the price range from the cheapest cars that I showed to the most expensive, price slashing across the entire board because they're always overshot. People always know what they got. But when it comes down to it, all these cars aren't selling for the asking prices. And this is what people are always saying in all the groups in Facebook when you're looking at these cars and the forums and all that. People are always, saying, hey, this car's worth not that, not that. And sometimes people definitely get out of hand and lowball and, tell you that a car that's probably really worth 10K, like, oh, it's worth 2,500. Like, I mean, there's bad on both ends of the spectrum. But overall, these cars are overpriced in my opinion, definitely valuable, but it seems that condition doesn't get factored in a lot of these cars and these ads, and you really need to take a step back at what it takes to get one of these cars to where you want it to be, and it's not cheap. So everything adds up. Keep in mind the newest one now is 93, is 31 years old, so they need stuff no matter what condition it's in. So definitely wanted to touch base on the pricing. As far as what my pricing was for my T-top, mine, like I said, the 87 original 5.0. As you saw, it's rusted out, Rustang. I did see one other car that I was like, right after I got mine, I found another red T-top, and I'll share it with you guys right here. So they are asking $3,500 for this one. This is definitely a lot more than I paid for mine. Like I said, take your best guess. I'll share in the next video. But this was an 87 T-top roller, so same thing as mine. Mine was a red 87 T-top roller. This is a red 87 T-top roller. Looks like it's in a hair better condition. This is a LX. Mine's a GT. The engine bay has been painted, which it doesn't have rust. It doesn't look like it was rusted, but being that it's painted, you never really know if anything's covered up. Floor pans look good. It doesn't have the rust that mine has. It has a red interior, which actually I prefer. I wish mine had scarlet red interior. And if you're watching this video and have a good scarlet red interior and you want to trade for a gray one, let me know. This car is not in the best condition. It's not in horrible condition. It looks like the interior is kind of trashed, but it looks pretty sound overall. So, this was 35, so I thought that was a reasonable deal. You can tell me what you think about that. So tell me if you think this red 87 roller here is worth 35, and take your best guess on what you think I paid for my 87 T-top. All right, so I definitely put a lot of time and research into this video, guys. I mean, I'm sure you can tell I'm telling you all these ads are over the span of about 4 to 5 months, so definitely a lot of time went into this. And I mean, the proof is right here in about 50 plus ads that I just showed you. So as I said, you can always share your opinion down below. It's hard to put an exact price for a group of cars. I feel like every car has its good, bad, and every car should be priced individually, but just keep in mind of the condition when you're pricing your car, and remember, take a step back, because just because people are asking $25,000 for pretty good examples, it really doesn't mean much, because they're not getting it either. So I'm going to be continuing with the Scarlet build on the channel for my 87 T-top. Make sure you subscribe, keep an eye out, because this car is getting fully restoed. I'm taking it to the level that it deserves to be taken to. So time to start digging in it, start going through it. I'm going to be recording everything, going through all the overhauling, modifying, everything we're doing. So make sure you stay tuned, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.